Question 1. What do you need to be aware of when driving a vehicle fitted with power-assisted steering? B. It makes it easier for you to steer. Power-assisted steering operates when the engine is running. If a fault develops, much greater effort is required to turn the steering wheel. Don't attempt to drive a vehicle if you're aware of a fault in the power steering system. If you want to pass dvsa theory test in first time, you can download our EOS app. App contains 2500 dvsa test questions, 250 hazard perception videos, 630 traffic road signs and 300 highway code rules. Even 98.50% people pass their test first time after using our app. You can find link in the description. Download app for free from App Store, which contains latest 2024 material licensed by dvsa authority. Get 3 days free trial for a limited time. Let's get back to the video. Question 2. What's most likely to cause a burst tire? D. Running tires underinflated. Tires can become very hot during sustained high-speed driving. If they're underinflated or damaged, there's a risk they'll burst or disintegrate. Check for excessive heat when you stop for a break. Question 3. What's the most likely cause if your steering starts to feel heavy? D. Faulty power steering. Modern large vehicles are fitted with power-assisted steering. If the steering feels heavy, then there's likely to be a fault, which should be investigated and repaired as soon as possible. At token crossings, pedestrians share the crossing with which other road users? A. Cyclists. A token crossing is signal controlled, but unlike a pelican crossing, it doesn't have a flashing amber light in the sequence. Cyclists and pedestrians cross together, and cyclists are allowed to ride their bicycles over the crossing. Question 5. What should the hard shoulder on a motorway be used for? D. As a place to stop when an emergency arises. When an emergency arises, pull onto the hard shoulder and use the emergency telephone to report your problem. You'll be connected to an operator who will put you through to a breakdown service. Never cross the carriageway or a slip road to use a telephone. Question 6. You're driving in wet conditions. What should you try to do before braking? D. Make sure that your vehicle is traveling in a straight line. If you need to brake when the road surface is wet, do so while your vehicle is traveling in a straight line. This will reduce the risk of skidding. As a professional driver, you should routinely brake in good time, so that you don't brake and change direction at the same time. Question 7. You're driving on a road with an uneven surface. What should you do if you're following a motorcyclist along this road? A. Allow extra room in case the rider swerves to avoid potholes. Never follow any road user too closely. This is particularly important when you're following scooter or motorcycle riders, or cyclists. They might brake or swerve suddenly, for example, to avoid a pothole on a road with a poor surface. Question 8. What should you do if a car driver makes a mistake that causes you to brake? C. Keep calm and don't retaliate. Sometimes other road users disobey the rules or make errors of judgment. Try to accept this calmly and learn from their mistakes. Question 9. What should you do if another driver does something that upsets you? D. Stay calm and don't retaliate. Sometimes other drivers or riders make a mistake. If this happens, try not to let it worry you. Don't react by sounding the horn, flashing your headlights or shouting at the other driver. It won't help the situation. A professional driver will remain calm and stay focused on their driving. Question 10. At an incident, a casualty has stopped breathing. What should you do to help them? B. Remove any obstruction from their mouth. To help a casualty who isn't breathing, you should remove any obstructions from their mouth and tilt their head back slightly. These actions will help to keep their airway clear and maintain the correct position if mouth-to-mouth resuscitation is required. Question 11. The Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, DVSA, and the police carry out spot checks for faulty vehicles. What will happen to the vehicle if serious defects are found? C. It will be prohibited from further use until the defects are rectified. DVSA or the police can order an immediate prohibition. The vehicle may be immobilized, and you won't be able to drive it until the faults have been rectified. Details are notified to the traffic commissioner. Never use a vehicle that you know is faulty. Question 12. Bus and lorry tires have codes on their side walls. What do these codes refer to? C. Speed capability. Codes are shown on the wall of the tire. These refer to the maximum load and speed capability of the tire. Question 13. You've parked on the roadside. What must you do before leaving the vehicle? C. Stop the engine. Before leaving your vehicle parked, you must stop the engine. The parking brake must be set, and the vehicle should be safe and secure when you leave the cab. Question 14. You're turning right onto a dual carriageway from a side road. What should you do if your vehicle is too long for the gap in the central reservation? D. Wait until it's clear in both directions. When turning right onto a dual carriageway, don't stop in the gap in the central reservation, unless your vehicle will fit in the gap without any overhang. When it's busy, consider turning left and using a roundabout further up the road, so you don't have to cross the central reservation. Question 15. Which of these is the main cause of collisions involving motorcycles? B. Other drivers. The main reason why there are so many collisions at junctions is that drivers fail to see motorcyclists. A bright jacket or single headlight may help you identify an approaching motorcyclist, but you should be aware that not all motorcyclists wear bright clothing or use their headlights during the day. Question 16. You're found to be 2.5 times over the legal drink-drive limit and are disqualified from driving. Before regaining your license, who will you have to satisfy that you don't have an alcohol problem? B. The Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency. If you're disqualified from driving because you were 2.5 times over the legal limit, you'll be classified as a high-risk offender. Before you can regain your license, you have to satisfy the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency (DVLA) that you don't have an alcohol problem. Question 17. What do yellow zigzag lines on the road outside a school mean? D. You mustn't wait or park on these lines. Parking on the yellow zigzag lines will block the view of the school entrance. This will endanger the lives of children wanting to cross the road on their way to and from school. Question 18. What does this sign mean? D. Uneven road. Slow down when you see a warning sign for an uneven road. Be especially careful if you're carrying passengers, livestock or fragile items. Question 19. You're reversing your vehicle. What should you do while the audible warning device is operating? A. Be cautious and keep looking all around. Don't rely on an audible warning device to claim right of way. It's your responsibility to be cautious and take all-round observation while you're reversing. Question 20. Where can you get help to plan your route before starting a journey? A. A motoring organization. Most motoring organization websites allow you to create a detailed plan of your trip, showing directions and distances. Some also include advice on rest and fuel stops. The Traffic England website will give you information on roadworks and incidents, along with expected delay times. Question 21. What would be the most likely effect of driving with the rev counter in the red band? B. You would damage the engine. Driving with the rev counter in the red band will cause the engine to wear prematurely and can lead to expensive repairs. This could result in the vehicle being off the road for some time. Question 22. What should you do to help your concentration when you have to drive through the night? B. Eat a meal at the beginning of your shift. Concentration will be improved by eating regular, light meals timed to fit in with your scheduled rest periods. If you don't eat at all, your blood sugar levels will drop and you'll feel tired. If you just eat snack foods, most of which are sugary or high in fat, your energy levels will peak and then drop, and eating while you're driving is a dangerous distraction. Question 23. Under EU driver's hours regulations, a 45-minute break must be taken after 4.5 hours of driving. What shorter breaks can this be split into? B. 1 of 15 minutes, plus 1 of 30. Under EU regulations, you must take a break of at least 45 minutes after 4.5 hours of driving. You may choose to take this break during the driving period. In this case, it can be split into 2 breaks of at least 15 and 30 minutes, taken in that order. Question 24. What's the first thing you should try to do if your vehicle catches fire while you're driving through a tunnel? A. Drive out of the tunnel. If your vehicle catches fire in a tunnel, you should first try to drive it out, but only if you can do so safely. Question 25. What helps you to become an eco-safe driver? C. Being aware of hazards. Driving in an eco-safe manner means that you plan well ahead for hazards and react in good time. This can save fuel and is therefore good for the environment. Question 26. Where can the axle weight limits be found? B. On the vehicle plate. Individual axle weights are shown on the vehicle plate. This can be found in a prominent place on both the vehicle and trailer. Question 27. Who's responsible for the issue of tachograph charts to a bus or lorry driver? C. The driver's employer. The driver's employer is responsible for the issue of tachograph charts. The driver must ensure that the correct information is recorded on the chart. Question 28. You're at the scene of a collision. People are injured. What should be done when the risk of further collisions has been dealt with? C. Make sure the emergency services have been called. Make sure you or someone else has called the emergency services. Check the casualties and, if you feel able to give first aid, do so. Alternatively, ask any bystanders if they can help. Question 29. What does this sign mean? D. Soft verges. This sign tells you that the verge is soft. If you park here, there's a danger that your vehicle will become stuck. This can be inconvenient and could be costly if you need to be pulled out. In extreme cases, your vehicle may even tip over. Question 30. How often must an analog tachograph be checked at an approved calibration center? C. Every 2 years. An analog tachograph must be checked every 2 years and recalibrated and sealed every 6 years. This must be done at an approved calibration center. Digital tachographs, unlike analog ones, must be recalibrated every 2 years. Question 31. You're scheduled to make a delivery. You arrive at your destination during the morning rush hour. The road is edged with double red lines. What do they mean? D. Unload only within white box area. White boxes allow you to unload at any time, but during the day the length of stay is restricted. You should check nearby signs for the specific times. At other times, when it's not so busy, there may not be any restrictions on parking. Question 32. You're often involved in the carrying of high-value goods. What security measures can you adopt? D. Vary your routes and rest stops. When carrying high-value goods, you can become a target for thieves. Avoid developing a set routine or pattern. Vary your routes whenever possible to make it difficult for thieves to predict when and where your cargo can be intercepted. Question 33. What's the final thing you should do after recoupling a trailer? D. Release the trailer parking brake. It's important to work methodically when uncoupling or recoupling a tractor unit and trailer. After recoupling, check that all connections, systems, and lights are working correctly. Question 34. Why are ropes unsuitable to tie down a load of scrap metal? C. Ropes can wear and snap. When securing a load, the driver must use the most suitable type of restraint. Scrap metal is likely to have sharp edges that could wear through straps or ropes. Security of the load is the driver's responsibility. A load that has been correctly secured shouldn't move if an emergency arises. Question 35. You're driving a laden articulated lorry with a maximum authorized mass of 38 tons on a dual carriageway in England. What speed limit applies to your vehicle after passing this sign? C. 60 miles per hour. 60 miles per hour may be the legal speed limit for a goods vehicle on a dual carriageway in England and Wales, but it doesn't mean that it's safe to drive at that speed. You should always take into account the road, weather and traffic conditions, and maintain safety margins. If you want to pass dvsa theory test in first time, you can download our EOS app. App contains 2500 dvsa test questions, 250 hazard perception videos, 630 traffic road signs and 300 highway code rules. Even 98.50% people pass their test first time after using our app. You can find link in the description. Download app for free from App Store, which contains latest 2024 material licensed by dvsa authority. Get 3 days free trial for a limited time.